Welcome to the video Spring Boot email verification with me Nam Habing from codejava.net. Through this video, I'm going to help you how to implement email verification for customer registration in a Spring Boot application. The purpose of email verification is to make sure that the users provide real emails, not fake ones. Suppose that we have an existing web application in which we already implemented the customer registration that allows the users to register an account on the website, and after the user clicks the submit button in the registration form, the application will save the customer details into the database, and then it will send an email for verification. The email content we have a hyperlink verify that requires the user to click on this verify hyperlink to confirm the registration. So this is to make sure that the email of the customer is real email, not a fake one. We will be working with the Java Spring Boot project using the following technologies: Spring Data JPA with Hibernate for the data access layer, Spring Mail for sending verification emails to the users, Thymeleaf as a template engine, MySQL as a database, and in the viewer we use Bootstrap for responsive user interface and jQuery for JavaScript. And through this video, I'm using the following software programs: Java Development Kit JDK, Spring 2 Suite IDE STS, and MySQL Database Server and MySQL Workbench. You see, this is Spring 2 Suite IDE, and I have an existing Spring Boot application. As you can see, it consists of 3 projects: Submit Backend for the admin, Submit Common for the common libraries, Submit Frontend for the frontend website. Let me start the 2 Spring Boot applications, Submit Backend and Submit Frontend, so you can see how it looks like. First is Submit Backend project here. This application is configured to be running on an embedded Tomcat server listening on port 8080, with the context path is /submit admin here. Now I start this application, Submit Backend. And open the Chrome browser to access the home page of the Submit admin application. Localhost port number 8080, and the context path is Submit admin here. I have to log in. Remember me on this computer login. So I have logged in successfully into the Submit admin control panel application here. And in this application, an admin user can manage customers here. And as you can see, currently there's no customer registered on the website. And the second project, Submit Frontend, is for the frontend website. And as you can see, it is configured to be running on an embedded Tomcat server listening on port 8080, and the context path is /submit. So I open a new tap here and access to the Shopee website here. Sorry, I need to start the Shopee front-end application here using Spring Boot dashboard. Very convenient to manage running Spring Boot applications. Okay, the application is up and running. I'll refresh. As you can see in this website, we have the register function here that allows the user to register as a customer on the website here. Click register, and you can see this is a customer registration form here. Now let me test this registration function by registering a new customer. For example, full name is Rakesh Gupta. Email is rakesh.gupta.gmail.com. Password, retype password, phone number. Address line 1 is C34 Nandavan, Poon Road, Panro. City address line 2 is empty. Country is India. Here. And state is Maharashtra here. And city is Mumbai. And postal code or zip code is 41026. That's it. And the user can click the create account button here to register create account. And you can see the customer registration is successful. You have registered successfully as a customer. And in the Shopee control panel, we refresh the customer list, and you can see the new customer appears here. Rakesh Gupta here, city Mumbai, state country here, and by default the status of the new customer is disabled here with the gray button in the enable column here, and we can see the details here. General information enable is false here, rest here. This is a customer registration workflow. First, the user enters the details in the customer's registration form and then submit the form to the server. Then the application will save the customer's details into the database with the enabled status is false here. And then the application will generate a verification code, and then it will send an email to the customer email address for verification or requesting confirmation. So this part was already implemented, and in this video we are going to implement the verification part to generate a unique code for the registered customer and then send an email. And this is a verification workflow. The user received an email requesting for confirmation, and the user clicks the verify hyperlink in the email, and then the verification code is checked, and if it is correct, then the application updates the customer's enabled status to true, and then display a success message. Else, if the verification code is not correct, the application displays an error message. So that's a very typical verification workflow that we are going to implement in this video. This is MySQL Workbench, and to implement the email verification function, we need to update the customer table here to have a column to store a random unique verification code. As you can see, these are the columns of the customers table, and we alter this table, and add a new column. So when a new customer is registered, we will generate a verification code. So add a new column here. Column name is verification underscore code, and its data type is varchar with the length is 64 because we will create the verification code, a random verification code with the length is 64 characters. That's it, and click apply. Finish. Select rows, and as you can see, we have only customer request captcha, which we have created before here. Full name, phone number, rest line 1, and the verification code column here. And then we also need to update the entity class customer to map the verification column in the database. So this is a customer entity class here. Now we add a new field here, private string verification code, and we map this field to the corresponding column in the table customer, which is verification underscore code. When we just insert the verification code when registering a new customer, we don't update the verification code when a customer is updated in the admin control panel here. So we set the attribute updatable equal false for this field, false. That's it for updating the entity class and the database to implement the email verification feature. Next, we need to update the application code to generate a unique verification code when the customer is registered. So let me open the controller class, customer controller here, and you can see the handler methods. So register form, create customer here, and it invokes the register customer method in the customer service class here, and this is where we proceed a new customer object into the database here, invoking the same method of the customer repository here. And before that, we update the code to generate a random verification code. So we can use a random string ut class, In a Spring Boot project, we can use the random string utility class provided by the byte body utility here. And we make a random string with the length is 64 character string random code equal random string dot make 64, and we set the verification code. So we need to generate the getter and setter for this verification code field here. Generate source, generate getter and setter verification code here. Generate. Yeah, and we set the verification code. That's it, very simple. And now let's test the application to make sure that when a new customer is registered, the application generates a random unique verification code, which is then is used in the confirmation email sent to the users. So refresh the customer here, and I delete this customer. Yes, and I register again for the sake of simplicity and quickly testing. I enter the information of the customer request captcha again and password request. That's it, and click create account. Successful. And let's check the database. Refresh the select statement here, and you can see verification code was generated for the newly registered customer here. We see a random string has a length 64 characters. This verification code will be used in the verify link in the email, which will be sent to the customer for verification. We need to update the success message after the customer clicks the create account button here to tell the user to check their emails to verify his or her registration. So in the project, in the register customer controller here, we return the view name register underscore success here. So we open that view template register success here, and append a paragraph that tells the user to check their email. Please check your email to verify your account. That's it. And let's test register again with another customer, and then we check the generated random verification code. So this time I enter a different customer, Ravi Kumar. Email is Ravi Kumar yahoo.com. Password Ravi Kumar. And you can see it validates the password match and length. And phone number is here 222 64943. The rest line one is number 2 15th Main Millers Road, Vasan, Naga. And last right 2 is empty, and city is Bangalore. Country is India. Here, and state is Karnataka. Postal code is 56052. Create account. Phone number create account. And you can see now in the successful message, it says that please check your email to verify your account. And let's check the database. We have the second customer row got inserted here, Ravi Kumar, and this is a random verification code generated here. You see, it is different from the first one. Yeah, and let's update the customers module here, and we see the two customers, Rakesh Gupta and Ravi Kumar, and their enabled status is all false here. Next, we are going to implement the verification email sending function here. After the customer has registered, and we resend the application, we send an email that includes the verify link that allows the user to click on the verify link to confirm their registration, to make sure that the email of the customer is not fake. And this is an email sending process. Our Spring Boot application needs to connect to an SMTP server, an outgoing email server, and then the SMTP server will send an email to the recipient's mail server, which is the customer's email address, and then the customer can read the email and click the verify link. So we need to configure SMTP server settings in the application and properties file here. But before that, we need to declare dependency in the Maven's project form file here to use Spring Mail. So we declare a new dependency here. Dependency group ID is, we copy the group ID and artifact ID here. The group ID is r.springframework.boot and artifact ID is spring-boot-starter-mail. That's it. Note that Spring Mail relies on Java Mail. It provides an API that makes it easier to send email than using Java Mail API. So you can see the jar files for Jakarta Mail here. Sorry, Spring Mail relies on Jakarta Mail, not Java Mail. As you can see here, Spring Boot Starter Mail here. Okay, and we need to configure the settings for the SMTP server here. Spring.mail host equal. Here I'm using SMTP server from Gmail, so the host name is smtp.gmail.com, and the port number is 587, and the username is my email, codejava.net@gmail.com, and password, and we need to specify additional properties for mail for the security authentication required by Gmail's SMTP. Spring.mail.properties .mail.smtp.auth equal to that means the SMTP server requires authentication, and then we need to enable the TLS encryption. SMTP dot start TLS not enable equal true here. So this is the main properties we need to configure for Spring Mail here to connect to a SMTP server, an outgoing mail server for sending emails. Now let's write the code to send a verification email to the registered customer in controller here after register customer saved. After the customer has been saved into the database, we need to send a confirmation email. So here we call the method send a verification email customer object. So we create this method in the customer services class here. And to use Spring Mail, we need to have an instance of the Java Mail Sender auto-while by Spring Framework here. So we declare auto-while private Java Mail Sender. This interface provided by Spring Mail Sender. And when this services class is being created, Spring Framework we inject an instance of the Java Mail Sender into this class, and it will load the SMTP server settings from the application properties file here. Okay, let's write the code to send a confirmation email for verification. So we need to send an HTML email that looks like this, with the subject is please verify your registration. Sender name is Submit Team. Dear customer name, please click the link below to verify your registration, and then the hyperlink. And thank you, the Submit Team. That's the content of the email. So the subject, email subject is please verify your registration. Sender name is Submit Team. And the sender email is configured in the application properties file here. SM username here. Okay. Email content. Dear, and plus the customer name. Customer get full name. We use HTML, so we use P for paragraph here. And we concatenate the mail content with another information. Please click the link below to verify your registration. Please click the link below to verify your registration. And then we need to construct a hyperlink, a verify hyperlink that includes the verification code of this customer. And this is the footer of the email. The submit team. Thank you. The submit team. That's it. And then the hyperlink. So we need to get the absolute URL of the website. In this project, I have a utility class that provides the method to get the absolute URL of the website here. Website URL here. It needs HTTP service request. And because in this services class it doesn't depend on HTTP service request, so we need to have HTTP service request in the controller here. HTTP service request. So that means we need to invoke the send verification email from the controller. Public, yeah. Customer controller. The REST method should return a customer object here, return from the customer repository, and this method returns a customer object here. That's it. And here, after REST the customer, we need to send a verification email to the customer, and it requires the website URL. So in this verification email method, we need to have the second parameter is the site URL. String site URL equal to the utility class site URL, and we pass the site URL to the send verification email method here. That's it. And now let's construct a hyperlink. It's better to stop the application because we are making a lot of changes to the code. I tag in HTML to get a hyperlink, verify, and URL string verify URL is site URL plus verify. Later we will implement the handler method in the controller class for this relative URL verify, and we need to pass the verification code here to the URL customer get verification code here. That's it, and we include the hyperlink here. Href equal, and then the hyperlink, the URL site URL. That's it for the hyperlink verify here. We placed it into a heading 3, so it looks bigger. Okay, that's it for the content of the email. Note that we include the verify hyperlink with the absolute site URL, so the user can click the hyperlink in their email, and then we pass the verification code into the URL, and later we will implement the handler method to check the verification code. That's for the content of the email. Now let's write the code to send this email. So to use the Spring Mail, we already declare Java Mail Sender here, and now we create a new MIME message object, MIME message to represent the MIME message, so we can send email in HTML format. Create MIME message here. When we need to use the MIME message helper provided by Spring Mail, MIME message helper equal new MIME message helper, and passing the message object here, and then we set the from address. Yeah, we from email codejava.net@gmail.com, and personal is a sender name. We need to add throws declaration for the exception. Okay, and then we need to set the set to is a customer email REST, customer get email, and then we need to set a subject, set subject, and set the email content, set text, and here we use a method with two parameters, set text with a text and a boolean flag indicating we are sending an HTML email to. Yeah, that's it. And we call the method of the mail sender to send this email. Mail sender send message. That's it. Quite simple, right? Okay, so this is a send verification email code here, as you can see. Verify URL. Sorry, this should be verify URL. Okay. Save the changes, and we need to add zero declaration here. Okay, we are ready to test. Let's start the application. So you see, it's not difficult to implement code for sending email using Spring Mail, because Spring Mail makes it easier than using Java Mail. Okay, now in the control panel, I delete the customer request after. Yes, and I rest again. Request after, and this time I need to use my own email so I can check the verification email sent to my mailbox. Code Java Nam Java programmer at gmail.com. Okay, click create account. See, successful. You have registered successfully as a customer. Please check your email to verify your account. Now let me check my email. Go to Gmail here. This is email Nam Java Programmer here. Next. Here, voila, you see, I got a new mail from the sender submit team, and the subject is please verify the registration here. Click to see the content. You can see this is the email content. Dear Rockascapta, please click the link below to verify your registration. Thank you, the submit team. Oh, this cannot be clicked. Oh, let me see. We have the hyperlink. Oh, new content. Sorry, my mistake. Very sorry. Okay, we need to test again. Delete this mail. In the control panel, delete this customer. Yes, and register again. So at least you see the email sending function is working perfectly. Alright, Rakesh Gupta and my email. Nam Java Programmer. Password. Create account. Okay, let's check the email. Okay, I got a new mail here from the submit team. And you can see the hyperlink is now clickable. And let's see. And you can see the hyperlink of the email here. You see the hyperlink here with a verification code in the parameter here. Try to click, and we got an error because we have not implemented the verification function yet. We will implement it in the next few minutes. Okay, customers, and you can see the customer Rakesh Gupta here. The status is still disabled, and if I try to log in, I will be rejected. namjavaprogrammer.com is the email of this customer here, Rakesh Gupta. I try to log in. You see, it says invalid username or password because the status of the customer is still disabled here. Let's review the verification workflow. First, the user clicks the verify link in the email. As you can see here, there's a verify link here. And then the application, we check the verification code is correct or not. If correct, we update the customer enabled status to true, and then we display a successful message. Else, if the verification code is not correct, we display an error message. Now let's update the code. First, we need to update the customer repository interface to have a method file customer by verification code here, customer repository. we declare custom method here that return a customer by a verification code. Find by verification code, and code is a parameter here, and I use a custom query. Select C from customer C, where C dot verification code equal to the value of the first parameter, which is a code here. That's it for the repository. And then in the services class, we need to implement another method that invokes the repository. Public boolean verify string verification code. The verification code will be read from the hyperlink in the URL here. Hyperlink here, you see the verification code in the URL here. And we get a customer by the verification code. Customer report find by a verification code here. And we check if the customer object is null, or the enabled status of the customer is true. Then we return false, meaning that the customer was already verified, or else we need to update the customer enabled status to true here if the customer object is not null. Customer report enable. I already implement a method that updates the enabled status of the customer here. Update customer set enabled status equal to where ID equal ID of the customer here. Here we get the customer ID, customer get ID, because in this else block the customer object is not null, and then return true to indicate that the customer has successfully verified. That's it. And now let's update the controller class to handle the request to the URL slash verify here. So we create a new handler method here. It's the get mapping annotation to handle HTTP REST request, and verify here. Public string verify account. And we need to map the parameter name code here. Parameter name code here. You can see code here that contains the value for the verification code. String code. And we also need to a model object to set some attributes to the model. Boolean verified equal service verify. Passing the verification code here. And we will display either successful message space or error message space depending on the returned value of the verify method here, true or false here. String page title equal verify. If verify is true, then the page title is verification. Verification succeeded. Else, verification failed. And in this application, I need to add a attribute to the model for the page title. Page title. Page title. And then I return the logical view name depending on the value of the verify boolean variable here. Return. I will create some view templates in the raster directory here. So I return register is a directory, and then plus the view name depending on the value of the verify boolean variable here. If it is true, return the view verify underscore success. Otherwise, return the view verify underscore fail. That's it. And now let's code the view. So I can reuse the code of the raster success view here. Copy, paste, and change the file name to verify success in case the verification code is correct. So the message is, the heading of the page is customer verification, and the message is congratulations, your account has been verified. And we suggest the customer to log in. So we use the hyperlink here to allow the customer to log in. th:/href log in now. /login. That's it for the content of the verification success page. And now the content of the verification failed page. Fail here. Now the content is the heading is a customer verification, and the message is your account was already verified, or the verification code is invalid. That's it for the content of the page that will be displayed if the verification code is not correct. Okay, we are ready to test verification. Now, let's see the customers here. Customer Rakesh Gupta here. The status is disabled with the gray icon to the enabled column here. And now I want to verify my registration, so I check the email and I click the verify hyperlink here, and you can see, congratulations, your account has been verified. Perfect. Now let's see in the database. Refresh. You see, refresh It's for the customer Ravi Kumar here. Let me see. Customer Rakesh Gupta, sorry. And you can see the value of the column enabled becomes 1 now, meaning true. And let's check in the control panel here, refresh. And you can see the customer Rakesh Gupta is now enabled. Perfect. And in this page, I can click login now. And I log in. Login. You see, I have logged in successfully, and you can see the message "Hello Rakesh Gupta" here, which is my full name here. Perfect, right? Awesome. Log out. If somehow if one uses hyperlink and with the invalid code, and let's see, you can see so accounts were already verified, or the verification code is invalid here. Perfect, right? Awesome. So far, you have learned how to implement the email verification for customer registration in a Spring Boot application. I hope you found this video helpful. Please help me to grow my channel by subscribing, like, comment, and share this video. Thank you very much.